The Jack of all trades and master of none has been my favorite character for over a decade because he still plays the classic, fundamental Tekken that I enjoyed the most in this franchise. If you're interested in honest, yet strong, well-rounded characters, or dudes that look like chicks, stick around for my full character breakdown of Leo Cleason.
Ready for the next battle.
This video guide will be separated into 5 parts to cover punishment, key moves, stances, Leo's strength and weaknesses relative to the rest of the cast, and combos.
Bist du bereit? Dann leg los!
At 10 frames, Leo gets 1-4, which deals 22 damage, puts him into Kinkai stance at plus 11, which might seem like a lot, but because you are limited to stance moves, which are much slower than your basic moves, it's not that much really. It's just barely enough to make his quickest mid, Kinkai 3, which is basically a hop kick, and his quickest low, Kinkai 4, uninterruptible. So he absolutely needs those plus 11 frames to be able to do lows and mids. But I don't think Kinkai is a great mix-up stance to begin with. I'll talk about the stance in a bit, but basically your quickest mid is nothing that you would do with frame advantage because it's unsafe, and you could also sidestep it and launch it. So good low, but bad mid, which makes it quite bad for mix-ups. The best thing if you want to do a mid and you're convinced that your opponent is not going to attack is to just crouch cancel the stance, but you will forfeit all of your plus frames. You're going from plus 11 to minus 2, but at least you get to use good mids and crouch dash 2-1. It's safe, 31 damage, it tracks, and you can mix it up with crouch dash 1. So that's the best thing that you can do after hitting your 10 frame punish, which is kind of sad. And that's why I don't like this change. In previous games, this did not put Leo into stance. It was safe on block, it jailed, it was a great move that you could just throw out. But now it's worse as a punisher in my opinion, and you cannot use this outside of punishment. And also, if you fuck up your punishment, you are dead because you're -5 and your quickest move is 13 frames. And you can't block and you don't have anything that's like a power crush or evasion. You're just completely fucked with your 10 frame punisher that only deals 22 damage and puts you in a not so great position in the first place. So being launched for this is pathetic. Yeah, this change is the worst thing that has ever happened to Leo in my opinion. But, it's your 10 frame punish, 22 damage. You have to take it. It's not that bad, but it used to be so much better. And I actually think it was supposed to be a buff, but they made it so much worse. At 11 frames, Leo gets 2-2, which is a high mid string for 29 damage. Plus 6 on hit. No stance, which makes me pretty happy to use it over 1-4. Also a significant damage upgrade. The range isn't the best, it's slightly less than his jab, so keep that in mind. On block it's -12, so it's not the end of the world if you mess up a punish like with 1-4, but don't just throw it out. At 13 frames, Leo gets up forward 1-2, which is a high mid knockdown string, deals 33 damage, wall splats. If they don't back roll, you can get a guaranteed ground hit. Also on hit, you can press 1+2 to get your lightning glare charge, which is his new Tekken 8 install gimmick. You can delay the second hit, but it will no longer be a natural combo, so you have to commit. And on block it's -14, so just use it as a punisher. But as a punisher, it has great range and good damage, wall splats, very consistent. At 14 frames, Leo has a few different options. The one that I would usually use back to 1+2, which is his 14 frame heat engager. It's actually 1 less damage compared to up forward to 1-2, but it gives you heat. Now, outside of punishment, it's also not a bad move. It's only -11 on block, puts your opponent into crouch, so if you are playing against a character that only gets a shitty while standing 4 as a punish, you can be pretty liberal with the usage of this move. But if you are playing against, say, Steve, who gets while standing 1-2, which deals 30 damage, I would only use it as a punisher. Now, if you are already in heat, you can get a pretty cool unique combo with the heat dash. So that's 75 damage of his 14 frame Punisher if you are in heat. The 14 frames you can also do 4-2. This has been his 14 frame Punisher since Tekken 6, since his release. It has better range compared to back 2, so it's more consistent. It deals more damage with 35, it's +8, which is pretty good, although there's some pushback. You can delay the second hit, but it will no longer combo, so you have to commit. On block it's only -12. Now, if you have your install charge lightning glare, you can use Fort 2-4-3, which is 44 damage and wall splats. At 15 frames, Leo can launch with down forward 2. Down forward 2 is one of his best moves, not only for block punishment, for whiff punishment, it's just like one of his better mids. It does launch crouching opponents. Now on block it is -13, so it's not safe, but it's generally worth the risk. Also, it has really good tracking. You can also use hop kick, but it has worse range. Hop kick's not bad, but like there's no reason to use it over down forward 2. High pushback attacks where down forward 2 does not reach can sometimes be punished with down back 2-4. It's 16 frame mid-high heat engager, 38 damage. It has really good range. I think you can punish things like Death Fist pretty consistently with this. Good for whiff punishment, it's good for block punishment with these high pushback attacks. And it's also really good outside of punishment. You can just throw out down back 2. It's completely safe. And if you see it hit, there's a pretty generous hit confirmation window. It also wall splat. This move is just really good. If you are already in heat, you can get a unique combo for 80 damage. This move is also the reason why I'm not going to talk about moves like back 4-1 or down back 1+2-1 or even back 1-1+2. I just think down back 2-4 is better than all of these mentioned moves. I don't think these moves are bad, but this move just makes them all kind of obsolete, basically. So down back 2-4 is best new move, super powerful. Learn to hit confirm it. Moves that have even more pushback and are at least -17 can be consistently punished with forward 1+2. It's this big advancing shoulder for 24 damage, really good range. On block it's -14, so it's not like that bad. Outside of punishment, you can try to use it as a counter hit launcher. Pretty big damage, very explosive. I would probably just stick to using it as a punisher. Leo's while standing punishment game is very simple and effective. At 11 frames, you get while standing 4-1+2, which is a 26 damage heat engager. This is really good for an 11 frame punisher, so no low really goes unpunished against Leo. Now the string is -12 on block, so it's not bad at all. And on heat dash, you can get a mini combo for 48 damage with while standing 1-4-1. And this mini combo can actually wall travel as well. And you can get a full combo if you hit the wall. This was 85 damage, which is pretty crazy for while rising 11 frame punisher. Now for the most part, you will be fine just using while standing 4-1+2 up until 15 frames where you can get a launch. But at 13 frames, there are 2 more options that you can use. Now, one of them kind of has to be used when you find yourself whiffing your while standing 4 on punish, because it actually has pretty terrible range. So If you do find yourself whiffing this while standing 4, you can use while standing 1+2. While standing 1+2 is a 13 frame shoulder. It has really good range, but it deals less damage at 25. It also doesn't wall splat, so it's kind of bad, but it does at least give you 22 frames, but you can't get anything for free. It's like fake frames. Yeah, only use this if you find yourself whiffing your while standing 4 Punisher, but usually while standing 4 hits, despite its terrible range, usually lows just don't have that much pushback, and this can hit pretty consistently. Now the other option that you have at -13 is up forward 1-2. This does deal more damage and you can get your lightning glare charge, but it's no heat engager. But the biggest upside and reason to use this is that it wall splats and you can get a full combo for massive damage. Now the issue with up forward 1-2 is that it starts with a high, so if your opponent is using lows that recover crouching, you can't use this as a Punisher because it will just whiff. At 15 frames you get while standing 2, which is a really long range Punisher. It's really consistent thanks to its range and its low hitbox. It actually also hits grounded, as you can see here. So this makes it like super consistent and reliable as a Punisher. You don't ever have to worry that your while standing 2 won't hit, no matter what staggering low you block. If you do block one of these staggering lows and you want to absolutely maximize your damage, you can always go for neutral hop kick, which is up forward neutral 4, to get 3 more damage compared to while standing 2, but I usually don't bother. This concludes Leo's punishment game. Now let's talk about some offense and part 2 of this guide, Leo's key moves.